I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared.
First, you're gonna tell me about this science stuff.
Sorry about that. What is a scientist?
You caught me like I'm experimenting with
Science!
It's like magic with electricity.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The smartest scientists in the entire world all agree
Science is a liar sometimes.
Seriously, this could not seem less scientific.
Those idiots don't know anything about science.
It's science.
I believe it's pronounced science.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen.
So I'm just experimenting with them.
You be quiet!
Thank you, scientist.
And listen to or watch my sound check videos.
Oh, okay.
Of me just saying dumb stuff into the mic, like, "Hey, look at my shit," or stuff like
Okay.
that. Speaking of look at my shit, welcome to Under the Guise of Science.
That was a hell of a transition.
Thank you. I felt like a good a spot as any.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, Charles.
Nice. Did all the things we had to do.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on?
No, well, it's afternoon, so it's another sober episode of Under the Guise of Science, or sober-ish, I guess, not not a couple glasses of bourbon deep. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to a not shit-faced episode.
Yeah, this is me tired from mowing the lawn. That's how this episode is going to be.
I just worked 5 days in a row. I'm off the next 2.
Oh, nice.
Here's my beer, which I will be cracking shortly.
Excellent.
Yeah, got to finish my first Liquid Death, though. Unofficially sponsored by Liquid Death.
Yes. Liquid
It's
Death.
currently
Nescafe, we're racking them up.
I'm still doing the whole I give them money sponsorship, though, right now.
Yeah.
Waiting for the tables to turn. The scales to tip, as it were. Man, there was a note that I had that I just remembered. Oh, that's what it was. So I know we were saying we were making some Bangladesh stuff because we were like, oh shit, somebody in Bangladesh listens to the show because there are 4 downloads, and then came to the realization that it's most likely someone from the U.S. using a VPN.
Yes, yeah, because then it was one random country here, one random country there. So it was like, it's not. There were 4 Bangladesh downloads, so it was like, there's something going on there. But I guess they just downloaded 4 at once, probably when they were connected to one session.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That could be it. So I going off of that. There's also a decent amount of downloads from Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, which I don't know who in Ohio knows us. Like, is there a VPN that says you're in Ohio? So you can get like that awesome Ohio exclusive Netflix that you don't get anywhere else in the fucking country.
I guess technically, yes, you could route yourself, if you know what you're doing, you could route yourself through wherever, but why you would do that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah.
You just want to be able to get all the good local goss on what's going on in fucking Dayton.
My mom's friends in Florida don't want to know that they're listening, putting themselves through Ohio.
We would rather be thought of from Ohio than have people find out we're listening to this schlock.
Yeah.
All right, add Ohio to the list of states we've trashed. So far, it's been New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, probably Massachusetts. Yeah, we're making our way around.
Yeah,
making our way around around the Northeast.
We're not gonna say anything nice about anybody.
We've also guaranteed certain doom to
Pacific
Washington
Northwest.
State, yeah, Pacific Northwest.
That's not my doing, though. I don't want that to happen. I'm just, I'm warning you guys. Like, leave a note for your grandkids or something.
Leave a cryptic note that says, beware your grandchildren, and don't
Right.
sign it from anyone.
And I know that, like, we're going back into that topic a little bit, but I guess when the geologists or whatever, whoever's reading the seismic activity, like, by the time they see, yep, it's coming, that's kind of too late to move a few million people out of the area, right? Like,
Yeah, if I'm to gauge how people would react in a mass panic by the movie Independence Day, I mean, people are not going to be able to get out of there.
Yeah, some people will be like, now's my chance to stab everyone that I've wanted to stab.
Yeah, and I don't have to wait for the full moon. Just going to stab everybody.
Yep.
Deep Impact, that also had one of those scenes of a parking lot of an expressway.
Because, yeah, the meteor was coming or whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to get to the top of a mountain or whatever.
Okay.
It was that came out around the same time as the other one, Armageddon. Yeah, it was the less popular asteroid destruction movie.
Yeah, they tried a couple of those.
Yeah, wasn't bad.
No.
I just remember Morgan Freeman was the president.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I would listen to whatever he said, at least. Like, disagree or not, you'd be like, well, he's got a point.
It does sound nice when he says it.
Yeah.
It does sound pleasant and disarming.
Yeah. I usually disagree with child slave labor, but the way he says it, it's just, it makes sense.
It's like, you know what? Maybe I haven't considered everything.
There are benefits,
yeah.
and it is good for character building.
Speaking of getting into, what was the thing that you sent me about the other plate tectonic thing video before we got into
the name of the line, what the hell was it? McAllen, it might have been.
Marshall.
I think there was a Mac in there. The McMullen,
McClellan, McMurphy.
There's this line. We'll link it in the in the show details. There will be links to such topics. One such topic is there's this line in Indonesia, like in the islands down there, where it's an arbitrary line, but it's pretty clear as far as which animals live on one side versus the other. Like, to the west of it, you got tigers, you got certain types of birds, more normal, I don't want to say normal, but mammals that you used to see, non-marsupials, I guess, would be the best way to put it, because east of it, you get the monitor lizards and the marsupials and some of the more exotic birds like cockatiels and things like that. And there's all these little different islands out there, but this line of demarcation between this border between the one side, all the species on one side versus the species on the other, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because these bodies of water in between the islands are really too big for any of these animals to swim across. So why is it that a couple of these islands have a common type of animal over here and the other islands have a common type of animal over there? And there really doesn't seem to be any difference between these islands. Well, the reason that this happened is because these islands didn't used to be islands. Once, when the sea level was lower, because the temperature was lower, so more of the water was locked up in the polar ice caps. So the sea level drops, and these are two different plates. One is like Australia, New Zealand, and that stuff, and the other Singapore, Southeast Asia. That plate, it was more connected there. So that's why you have the tigers and stuff like that on some of these Indonesian islands that you would find in Asia, and the monitor lizards that you would find in Australia, and some of those on the eastern of these islands, with this clear line between the two. these two plates at some point met.
And I was when the video first started, it's the Russell line, but no, not Russell.
Russell
Wallace.
Wallace, okay.
Wallace, yeah, that was
so.
That was the Mac name.
I was like, this. It's Scottish. There's something Scottish about it. Unite them.
Russell Wallace sounds like he either was this scientist, but also could have played for the Bills in like the late 70s.
Yes, yeah, he was the linebacker.
Yeah, boy, he could throw a mean thumb in your eye if you weren't paying attention. I was originally thinking, my first speculation was that it was animals kind of. I wasn't thinking of the animals got stuck there. I was thinking, oh shit, so they're just not flying over this line. Like maybe the birds and the animals know that like there's a tectonic plate there, and like how animals run away from shit allegedly.
When it comes to birds, at least. There are some birds that are on both sides because they can fly that far, but a lot of the birds that we're talking about don't fly over large bodies of water like that. Like it's too long of a single flight for them. They're more stop and go type birds. Yeah, there's no like
sprinters.
Yeah, not like great migrating flocks of cockatiels and stuff.
That sounds like. It sounds like a cuss from a 50s TV show. Great migrating flocks of cockatiels. This is serious. Yeah, it was neat though, and it's like because on the another thing I was thinking of was like, how the fuck did these rhinos get on this island?
Yep, because wasn't an island.
Yeah, it was not. It was
kind of, I guess, like the everybody knows about the strait between Alaska and eastern Russia, where the Native Americans made their way over.
The Bering Strait.
Yeah, that's it.
The Bering Straits of Gibraltar, right? That's what they call it.
I don't think Gibraltar's involved.
He had a producer's credit on that string of islands.
Yeah, he had a monopoly on straits.
That's where the short-faced bear used to hang out, I think, and used to like just jack people up and just hang out on this side and just wait for people to walk across and just pick them off.
Short-faced bear were highwaymen.
Yeah. Well, it was good they were short-faced so they could tie the bandanas around behind their neck. If they had a full-length nose, they would have known who it was every time.
Right.
But with the bandana, it's like, oh, this could be any gigantic bear.
Right. Or could be a person. Maybe he needs help. Don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah, so that's neat. That's cool beans. Nice little addendum to our previous week's episode. You can find that video as well as any other bullshit that we talk about during the episode in the show notes by hit more info on wherever you get your podcasts from, and it'll be there, as well as all the previous episodes.
And we link to our socials. We try to make it as user friendly as we can, so you can just kind of stay within the click on our stuff world.
Yeah.
Don't need to go elsewhere.
Just hang out. Just hang out on our stuff. Look around.
Yeah.
Take a look around. It's like the that Union commercial. You ever see that one? Asks me or something like that. Well,
no.
I'll share that. It's they took a regular like Union TV commercial from the early 80s but they had a guy voice over it or do a voiceover and just all kinds of fun shit. Yeah, watch it. It's funny.
Okay. Okay.
But at one point he goes, "Take a look around." That.
Okay.
We got humps picking up your fucking garbage, shit like that. We got broads and pushing around little old ladies in wheelchairs from Florida.
Yeah, over the top.
Yeah,
Okay.
fantastic.
Take a look.
Yeah. Speaking of taking a look, we had a couple people who've been taking a look at our podcast.
Uh-huh.
Who
I
else?
have.
But yeah, you go.
I was going to say, yeah, so the contact in the links, you can see ways to contact us as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have some listener feedback here on the Twitter. I'll start with at Superdense, SOO. He's creative. Superdense.
Is it
Says,
DENCE or DENTS? Like he works at a body shop.
Super dense. No, it's NSE.
Okay.
But says water freezes and goes down. Yeah, I know what they're talking about. So when I was talking about ocean currents, I said the cold water when the warm water rather when it is currented to the north, or I guess I don't know what's the word for the current bringing the water north. But,
I believe it's
flows
pronounced
to the north.
currented.
Oh, okay. So when the warmer water is currented north and it reaches the colder water, I said the water freezes and sinks down. It's not what I meant. I misspoke. I misspeak a lot. Get used to it. Like Richard Feynman said, the names are no use. It's all about the concepts. I didn't mean freezes. I mean it gets colder. And then when it gets colder, it goes down and then it's shuffled back out to the Atlantic lower. And that's where the current comes from. That warmer water moving north, cooling down, sinking, coming south is cooler water, warming up, coming back north. That's the ocean current. So no, it doesn't freeze and sink. The frozen water is locked in the icebergs and they float.
Man, fucking some real sticklers so far.
Yeah.
But I mean, all right. As is to be expected, you put yourself out there.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of sticklers, here's we got an email from Trent Dilfer. I don't know if this is the same Trent Dilfer that won the Super Bowl with the Ravens 20 years ago, or whenever it was. But
let's hope so.
I'm going to assume it was.
All right.
But he said the hottest place is Venus. What about the sun? Because again, I said the hottest place in the solar system is Venus. Misspoke. I meant planet rather than place. Yes, it's hotter in the sun.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking about planets, and we prefaced that we were talking about planets.
Yeah.
Trent.
Yeah, you're a fucking game manager at best. Shut up.
Yeah.
You won. I could have won the Super Bowl with that defense.
Fucking game managed these nuts, Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, you won a Super Bowl. They said, thanks for your service and didn't re-sign you. You're going to bitch to me about Venus. You know what I'm talking about. Definitely just lost Trent Dilfer as a listener.
Whatever. If we want anyone from that Ravens team, we want the guys who got away with murder.
Yes.
or Terry Heap. Is that his name?
Todd.
Todd Heap. There we
Todd
go.
Heap, yeah. And one last one from Reddit username Jason vs. Freddy. Ooh. He asks, what about Jason vs. Freddy? Because we said there have been no sequels to two different franchises where blah, blah, blah.
I thought about that on the re-listen. I was like, oh, we should have fucking said that. But to be fair, even though there was no comic book like there was with Alien vs. Predator, there was every single kid who was above 5 years old for the duration of the late 80s who would just do the thing where you would make up the movies in a schoolyard and be like, yeah, did you see Halloween 8 where Freddy and Jason show up? Like, yeah, I did, because you didn't want to be the one that didn't know about it. So you just, and that's how improv starts. Just yes, and you become a good liar as an act of self-defense, and then
Roll
eventually,
with it.
you just get good at jokes eventually.
Mhm.
You hope.
And also, I don't think that's really a sequel because they had the end of one of the Jason movies where Freddy Krueger's glove comes up and pulls the mask through. I remember that. But then the start of Jason vs. Freddy had nothing to do with that ending. It wasn't a continuation of either storyline or either chain of movies. It was just, here's a movie with these two fighting, and it was a completely isolated thing. So I would not necessarily say that was like, I want to continue where one movie franchise ends, another ends, and there's a story, and both of those stories are connected in another movie.
Yeah, like let's say for example, let's say you have you do a shot, you do like a sweeping well, it's not a sweeping crane shot now, and it's all just drone shots now. But what used to be like the sweeping crane shot, it swoops in on the house from the Burbs, and Tom Hanks is there, and Carrie Fisher's there. They're in their house next door, and then Harry and the Hendersons move into the house where the murderers were.
Okay.
Like, they didn't have anything even close to doing with each other. But let's just mash them together and pick up where both of them left off.
Yeah.
I guess, well, you know what they would have? So they'd probably have to do like a little bit of like cold open before the opening credits for the movie. I guess, which Harry and the Burbs, working title, of course, or Harry and the Henderson and the Burbs, or in the Burbs, maybe. I don't know. That's for another conversation. But so you'd have to do like an opening shot, because remember, at the end of Harry and the Hendersons, they let him loose in the woods, and he saw a bunch of other Bigfoots, and like he was walking past them, and they're like, "Oh, that rock is also a Bigfoot." That small bushes is also a Bigfoot, and then there's like a whole slew of them.
The smaller Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh, that's a mere moderate foot.
And sorry to derail you, but what kind of fucking life is that? Is, all right, I wake up and pretend I'm a bush for 12 hours and go back to sleep so people won't find me.
I like that they can't be asleep. Like that they're sleeping somewhere, and then, all right, time to wake up and go be a bush somewhere.
Well, maybe they sleep as a bush too, but either way, the day is vastly made up of pretending to be something.
And isn't that the problem with the modern world? We're all trying to pretend to be something that we're not. Maybe that movie was saying a lot more than we realized.
It was deeper, yeah.
It was deeper in the woods than we thought.
Wow.
So anyway, so Harry and the Hendersons. Oh, so they're in the woods. Harry and the other Bigfoots. Now, I don't want to go dark, but why else would he be reunited with the Hendersons? Like maybe like a hunting party killed his whole family, and they got to go find him. Like that's what Marvel would do. That's what Disney would do.
They would. We could go. They just don't have a fridge where he was. He got very used to having a refrigerator access, and these berries ain't cutting it.
See, I like. Yeah, your version's better. With he now has a refined palate.
Like he picks up a fish sitting by the river and he throws it down, and then he goes and finds John Lithgow.
John Lithgow, who can look shocked for 90 minutes straight, and you totally believe it. Just like lots of that. Yeah. So then they move in next door to the Burbs, and that's as far as my brain got. But we got a jumping off point, and we have a pre-credits, title card scene already. So I mean, this movie's practically writing itself.
Right. If we actually like sat down and thought about it, this is just in response to Reddit user Jason versus Freddy, who's totally a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a real person's name. I would.
Yeah. Who would make that up?
Some piece of shit with slicked back hair. That's for goddamned sure. Can't tell. We both have hats on.
Right.
So. But you could only assume it would slick back real nice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have feedback?
I do. I have only one and it is brief. It is brief and to the point. This was a direct message to me by somebody that I met once. I think I was on a cruise ship. So like the cruise that I went to, I know this story already sounds like it's going in a different direction, but I promise it's not going that way. I was on a cruise that Slightly Stupid was headlining, so I got to see them play like 4 times over the course. And yeah, so I was part of a Facebook group that was all sharing pictures and stuff afterwards. So he was one of those. Anyway, I won't throw his name out there for his own safety of our jerk friends retaliating. Just, this may be the worst comedy I've seen. Props! Exclamation point. And that was in response to the first clip we posted.
Okay.
So just out here judging a book by its cover, just thinking people can't get better, people can't change.
Yeah, we can change.
We can change.
That was to be fair, that was probably the worst comedy we've done.
It was. So yeah, you're right. It is the worst comedy you've seen. It was the worst comedy we've done. It's only gotten better. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Fuck you. You.
Fuck you. Name I'll find out off the air and harass.
Yeah, all right. So before we get into our topic today of not artificial insemination. No. That's all my brain wants to say right now. Artificial intelligence. There we go.
I was like, I didn't prepare for that.
Not at all. It turns out you need a lot of preparation for that. It's not just something you can. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so we got a couple of other messages. That's right, on I think Instagram, both on Instagram. That we're quitting our jobs now. We can quit our jobs because some nice guy offered to start a business with him, and some nice lady was like, "Here's, you guys wanted a gift card, so that's going to be enough to pay 2 mortgages and support children and all that other stuff. So we're good. Now we can just focus on our craft full time."
Yeah. I said to get started, I had to send them your social security number, but I figured it's probably safe.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I just wish he would have asked me. I would have given it. What kind of impression am I giving off about myself online? What is my online presence like that I'm seen as a cold, ungiving of social security numbers person?
That's usually how I respond when I get like the phishing text. Mm. Like they click here and I just say, "So should I send you my social security number too?" And they never respond to that. It's like I guess they're looking for the people. Just click the link. But
I wonder if it's something like, because I was just watching a video of a guy throwing meat over a fence to a lion, and like it's a big hunk of meat. Just raw meat, and the lion does not unlock his eyes from the guy throwing the meat rather than the meat that is already on that side of the fence. So I wonder if there's like a hunter element of like where you're just like, "Oh, here's my social security number." It's like, well, no, there's no hunt, right. There's no pursuit.
Yeah.
Where's the sport? Where's the sport in this?
Interesting. Maybe. I know the what's it called, the car, when they call you about your car warranty, extended warranty stuff. I was with John and he actually tried to go through with it just to like, see what happened, and they transferred to another person where he described what kind of car he had, and he made up of like, he told him he had like a bullshit K car from the 70s or something like that, and they told him he doesn't qualify. He goes, "Really? I just went through all of this and you're not even going to let me?" They hung up on him.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That's Jim Florentine's made a career of that. Just
Oh yeah,
7 terrorizing telemarketers albums and counting.
just gotta get a recording device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a not day job. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what they call
that helps. Right.
Artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere now these days.
Yeah, it's very readily accessible. I mean, I have been working with it for a couple years, like dealing with AI and machine learning for processes within, in my company and stuff. But now the fact that we can kind of pull up Chat GPT and tell it to write a story about one of our friends and just share it, or music lyrics
in the style of an author, and you pick it, and it's incredible. It's so, like, you can still tell it's not like a person, or let me rephrase that because of the thing that's going to follow it. You can tell that it's not used to, or it's not something that it's necessarily proficient in. Like it has the element of someone speaking their English as their second language. Like
I could see that.
It's close, and then every now and again you're just like, what is that doing in there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the
or almost like the naivety or whatever of a 5-year-old, but the vocabulary of the entire dictionary.
There you go. That makes way more sense.
Yeah, because it can use every single word in the right way, but it's so simplistic in the way it puts it together. There's no like nuance, or there's not really any what's the word I'm looking for? Double entendre type stuff.
Yeah,
wordplay.
no wordplay. Yeah. That shit won't fly on this podcast, because we not only do we have a heavy wordplay episode specifically, but in general, very heavy wordplay.
We get it in when we can.
Yeah. We're real heavy wordplay. Here's some silence.
Because I said get it in when we can, and the only wordplay you can go with that is perverted, so I tried not to. Like, how do we back out of this?
I mean, that just compounds on top of what you were already saying, so.
Yeah. I'm not digging myself out of the hole now, right?
Yeah, so
I mean, but no, you go first.
I was just gonna ask if you had any of that podcast transcript that you came up.
Oh, let me see if I do. So yeah, I
hold on. Was that an old man or a quark going out of existence?
Like I said, I just mowed the lawn, so every move I make is going to hurt. So yeah, I went to Chat GPT, or chat.openai.com in particular, because I was trying to. I was reading about making transcripts available for podcasts. So I said, "Can you make a transcript of a podcast?" And the AI said, "Yes, I can make a transcript of a podcast. However, please note that the accuracy and quality of the transcript will depend on several factors, blah, blah, blah." It gives a whole bunch of other stuff. So I said, "Okay, can you give me a transcript of Under the Guise of Science episode 1, please?" And then it said, "I'm sorry, I don't have access to the podcast, blah, blah, blah. I don't have access to podcasts or any audio or video content. However, I can give you a general idea of what Under the Guise of Science podcast is about.
Oh.
Under the Guise of Science is a podcast that explores how science has been used throughout history to justify and promote various political, social, and economic agendas." And I thought, fuck, that's a good idea for a show. That's not what this podcast is about, but it goes on to give a detailed explanation of what we examine. In each episode, the host delves into a specific case study, such as the eugenics movement, the tobacco industry's efforts to downplay the health risks of smoking, blah, blah, blah. And it goes through all this different stuff. And it says, "I hope this gives you a general idea of what to expect from the podcast."
I forgot.
To which I read, yeah. To which I replied, I think you made that up. I'm the host of that podcast. So it said, I apologize for the confusion as an AI language model, blah, 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 blah. And then it said, are you the host of the podcast? Would you like me to create a transcript of the first episode? If so, please provide me with the necessary information, such as the title and date of the episode. So I did. I told it the title and date, and it said, here's the transcript. Opening music plays. Host. Hello, and welcome to the Under the Guise of Science, a podcast that explores the ways in which science has been used to promote political, social, and economic agendas throughout history. I am your host, your name, and in this episode, so rather than give me, and it gave me pages with music fading in, music fading out, talking about the supposed existence of Planet X, all the things that we spoke about, how it was discovered by different things, the
Right.
IAU turned it into a dwarf planet. Early 2000s, a group of astronomers led by Mike Brown discovered icy bodies in the outer region of the solar system. So blah, 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 all this stuff we talked about. But it wrote a podcast. Like we could have, pages and pages it gave me that we could read word for word and just kind of, not put any effort in at all, and just there's a podcast.
I like that it just doubled down on its original idea, because up until that point it felt like it feels like it's like a very nervous person that just wants to help, and it's like, oh yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that, but if you tell me some more things, I do my best to kind of give you an idea of hopefully what you're looking for. And then it's just like, you guys are fucking assholes. Extra. Except with music fading in and out.
Right.
I wonder if it takes like it doesn't take the wordplay into consideration of Under the Guise of Science. Like,
no.
It just takes in Under the Guise of blank, and anytime I've Googled Under the Guise of Science, is always like an episode or a podcast, an episode of a podcast or two where that is either part of the title or in the description of it, and it's just like all the stuff that was described. It's nefarious deeds done under the guise of science.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's that's really funny.
Yeah.
So to jump onto that similar idea, I was listening to Michio Kaku on a podcast discussing his new book, which, as we discussed already, it's a fucking travesty that he does not narrate his own audiobooks.
Yeah. I'd pay double.
Like, I guess if he's got too much time to fucking, or he doesn't have time to do that shit because of what he's actually writing the books about. But he was likening Chat GPT or any other type of artificial intelligence generator like that. It's like a college student. What's it called when you plagiarizing? It's just it doesn't necessarily know what it's writing. It's just pulling a bunch of information together and doesn't really have like the correct context for what it is. It just has, instead of another student's paper or something else, it has the entire library, the entire internet to draw from.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye.
Yeah, gigantic database.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's they're still. All right, can we define, like, where does computer end and where does artificial intelligence begin? Because that still isn't even necessarily artificial intelligence, because it's still not coming up with anything on its own. Like it's just what is it? It's just taking other information and just kind of piecemealing shit together to kind of give you an idea based off of a request that you've made. Without that request, it's not going to be doing anything else.
Well, what is intelligence? Like if you can look at something and recognize what it is because you've seen it before, or you've seen things like that before. You actually, in our brains, when I say you, I mean, people in general, myself too, in our brains, with the two different sides or two different hemispheres, whatever the lobes, whatever we have. Well, lobe, that might actually be the real word. I was saying loaf as a joke. You have
Did you say loaves?
Yeah.
These are my loaves. Are you left grain or right grain? Do that shit, Chat GPT, motherfucker.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You can't transcribe that.
Shit.
But you have your one half of the brain is for ideas and dreaming and all that. The people who are artsy are right brained, and the people who are more mathematical type, logical, or left brained. I think that's how it is. I forget which one is which. Long story short, you look at something, your dreamy side goes, "What is that?" and compares it against the other side. Goes, "Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Does it have web feet? Does it look like a duck? Blah blah blah." And that's how you can identify what you're looking at a duck, because you have this. But if you've never seen a platypus before, like it's running this, again, check cross-referencing between the two sides to say, oh, there's kind of some duck-like things going on there, and you're able to kind of like piece together that this may be one of those platypi that I've heard about that kind of have duck and mammal features. Or just saying, like, there is some kind of process in the brain that is almost replicated by these AI machines or machine learning type programs that are able to take something it's looking at and compare it to this other database. The difference is machines, again, don't have the nuance. If they don't have an exact comparison, if there's a million pictures of a thumb in their database, and now you're looking at a picture of a thumb that's covered in something that makes it harder to see, if the computer doesn't have a close enough match, it's not going to recognize what that is. That's why those select these things.
Oh, the fucking the select this
traffic lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a question that I forgot to write down. So thank you. So there's just not enough. I guess not that there's not enough. It's trying to catch the robots on like where it's like a quarter of the stop sign, or like just the tiniest little bit of the stop sign maybe is in it, or
two-parter.
Oh, okay.
That is one part of it. That it's trying to that this technically there's a bus in that picture, even though it's kind of in the background. Blah blah blah.
Right.
It also tracks your behavior, meaning the way you move the mouse, the way you type. There's certain like erratic movements that humans make that computers and robots won't make. So as you're scrolling over to click the button, the way the mouse the cursor gets there from one side to another, like a human is going to do it in a unique way versus a robot. It's going to be like, there's going to be no randomness to it. So it can pick up on it that way too.
It's just going to shortest distance between two lines, or two points is straight line, and just there immediately.
And even if you were to program like a weird curve into it, it still is too robotic. It's not a human movement that the computer can. So it's looking for both of those.
Oh man!
Yeah.
No shit. That's neat.
Oh yeah.
That's
very smart.
Going the opposite way with that. One of the cooler things to come out of my stomach was that burp. Holy cow! One of the cooler things to come out of everybody working from home for the better part of the last 3 years was a thing you put under your mouse, so it makes it look like your mouse is moving, because they would be able to track whether or not your mouse is moving, so it looks like you're working. but
Wow.
yeah. the lengths you go to.
Yeah, let's see how long I could push this without getting fired. What, you could also just like work too, and then but that's
See,
like my kids.
You sound kind of robot-y a little bit every now and then.
Sounds like something a robot would say. But it's like my kids. The amount of brain power you spend on trying not to clean. Like if you just cleaned, it would have been over already, and you would have been doing the other thing that you wanted to do.
Right. That was all me as a child.
Yeah.
Probably all me until about 3 years ago.
No, yeah, I guess I didn't have a work ethic for a bit. It took a while.
Just like instead of just all right, let me just go over, walk, do this. Just be so wrapped up in the emotion that I don't want to do this. Let's come up with a 5-point presentation on why I shouldn't have to do this thing. It's like, motherfucker, just do shit.
Right. Just wash your asshole. Get it over with. Why are we fighting about this? It's the thing people do. Every day. You should wash your ass every day.
Who the fuck's... Is that a Joey Diaz thing? Wash your asshole?
Colin is armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth, or mouth. Those are his 4.
Right.
You got to wash every day.
And then, but definitely not in that order. I think he follows it up with.
Yes, yeah. And I didn't get his order right either, but it was something like that.
Yeah. Let's see, where were we with artificial intelligence? Where is... Yeah, I guess it's either robots are too perfect. For the record, I realize I've just started calling AI robots. I don't care because that's the same shit.
Whatever.
But
yeah. It's the operating system or software that'll be in a robot.
Yeah, like there's not the. It's just like the hyper focus on getting a thing done. Like there's not a.
Yeah.
Oh, I was doing.
Sorry, we have
thing.
robots at work, but no, I was gonna say we have robots at work, which is just an email address. You email them with a certain format and say, "Here's a thing," and then it's an automated process that it does and sends you back. So it's a robot. It's just software, so it's not inaccurate. But yeah, sorry to cut you off.
But even that, like, so there's never a time that you send it out, and like one of the other programs will like lean over the cubicle and go, "So, Fred, how we doing today, bro?" Like, I'm trying to work on this right now, Fred.
Yeah.
And,
the robot doesn't go to lunch.
Yeah, the robot doesn't get startled by a loud noise, and like there's not the huh and like a typo.
Unless you imagine programming that in on purpose. I want a very fidgety, nervous robot.
You have lines and lines of code programming what it would be like to have to take a low dose of Xanax 3 times a day. Otherwise, and then you have to send that line of code. Otherwise, it's not going to perform as well. I guess we're just doing Tamagotchis now. With anxiety disorders.
or just creating, just replacing people with other messes.
It's like you just got to give him a chance. He doesn't have it every day. All right, he's still a very good program. He's just not. Which I think that was that's kind of like how the Tron universe works, is that every actor is portraying a computer program.
Oh, okay.
If I remember from the roughly 1,000 times I watched it as a kid.
But Mr. Anderson, the guy who said Mr. Anderson in The Matrix.
Yes. Yeah.
He was a virus, I guess, technically, or something. I don't really understand what he was, but he was something.
Agent Smith. There we go.
Okay.
Well, no, so he got infected. He was a
okay.
he was a program, I believe, and then he got infected by interacting with Neo, I think, in the first place, and that might have corrupted his software or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it confused me.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in forever. It's probably still pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, all the confusing shit that happens, it ends up in a slow-mo fight between, so
Yeah,
it was worth it.
It's all just building up to karate, which is fine.
Yeah, that's that's all we want.
It's all just building up to karate and what would end up being the most ripped off and imitated bullet camera sequence. Just the person in the air and then the 180
spinning around.
Yeah, that cost probably like $1 million to do that in a single day, and they only had like 2 takes. And now in Times Square, you can go to a photo booth where they do that for you.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think they have those for like weddings and stuff too. But everybody I know that was going to get married is pretty much married, with a couple of scragglers here or there. So, yeah, no weddings on the horizon. Isn't that nice to be out of that stretch?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Fucking shit. Could you imagine having a program dread into computers about having to go to a bunch of weddings too close together?
But that's good. How am I going to afford whatever else I need to live because I have to pay for these 2 wedding dates? It's like we're having ramen again next week.
Come down to robot ramen.
Yeah. It's like, shut up, robot. You don't even eat.
Where are we?
But speaking of karate, that Boston Dynamics, whatever, the robots that they're working on.
Oh, yeah.
Shared the link of that. So I will share the link below. It's a robot that was able to do a backflip and land on its feet and run up and do an uppercut and a left cross. So basically, like, if they put this, artificial type software into these things and teach it martial arts, and this thing is able to, balance itself, and you better pay your taxes, otherwise that's who's coming to collect.
Those videos are so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
All of them. And just like anything else, like, there's so many people watching it just underneath all caps. Fake.
Yeah.
Just like, no, if you pause it right here, you can see that the light isn't reflecting off of this at this point. And it's like, man, shut up.
I'll tell you what, I hope it's fake, because if it's not fake, what are we doing? Hasn't anyone are we tempting fate on purpose? Like, let's make these unkillable robots. Because if the risk with artificial intelligence, I feel like, is when they get to the point where they can upgrade themselves, where you now have you don't have to complete the upgrades and the patches and all that kind of stuff, or write better software. You teach, or you have a robot or an AI or machine that does that itself. So now it can continually upgrade itself and make itself smarter and all that kind of stuff, where what is to stop it from changing its own programming? Like, if you got to give these things a prime directive, this is your purpose. You're a machine that exists for creating. Here's the one I always heard was creating paper clips. So you're a paperclip creating machine, and you're more efficient than any human factory has ever been. But you get to the point where we're running low on resources. But you're a machine that now upgraded yourself, that you're aware of the chemical composition of various things and know how to break down different resources to get the nickel out of these resources. No, it turns out there's some nickel in people. So this robot, is prime directive is to create paper clips. People are now a resource to these, hypothetical future robots. What is to stop them from now taking us over and using our bodies to get the trace amounts of nickel out that it needs to continue creating paper clips until the entire planet is made of paperclip.
Oh man, where do they keep the nickel? By the way, in people,
Oh, it's just
loose nickels.
It's in the blood, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like
Just trace amounts of it.
What's his name?
Yeah, iron and stuff like that is in our blood.
Oh, that's what it was in. I don't remember which X-Men movie it was, but spoiler alert for whichever one it was. Magneto pulled all the iron out of somebody's blood. Oh, because somebody shot a dude up with like extra iron.
But would that kill you or just make you anemic? Well, I guess if you have the extra iron in you, but otherwise you just deal with this for the rest of your life. You got to take medicine, you bitch. And then...
Are you okay? I'm alive, but I think he gave me sickle cell. I don't know what happened.
Did you have an encounter with type 2 diabetes, man? Now you'll be watching your sugar forever.
Well, I'm not in immediate pain, but this is definitely a major inconvenience for me.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate this very much, type 2 diabetes, man.
I was going to have that intimate. Yeah. Again, write this, Chat GPT.
I don't know if it should be the robot's name or the guy that owns the company should be named Chad GPT.
Wear a visor.
Yeah. What's up, bros? Can you guys can you just write this for me real quick? I'm kind of having a day right now, bro.
All right. So how about this? So let's say you program robots or the AI, their prime directive is value human life. That's, the number one before anything else. So we're not going to get into that situation where, we get to that. So now you put it in a remote, a car. While it's self-driving wherever, someone jets out into the street and the car now has to make a decision of slamming on the brake and the other car full of passengers behind them crash, hitting this person, swerving onto oncoming traffic, or all of these different choices that could lead to some kind of death or dismemberment or something. Like when the robot's prime directive is to value human life, like now how do you tell it how to scale that? Like if it's, one baby versus 3 dudes, screw the 3 dudes, save the baby, or those 3 guys are doing something with their lives and that baby doesn't even talk yet. Like how does it, like from a robot's perspective, I'm just
yeah, it's like get rid of the least productive one. Well, this is an easy one. This motherfucker can't do anything but shit.
Right.
And I get that turns into the what's that, like the trolley car philosophy experiment.
Either watch it and do nothing,
yeah,
or hit it and kill one,
which so just in case anybody doesn't know, that's so a trolley is coming in on a track and you have to decide to let it hit 6 people who are tied to the track or hit the track switcher so it goes on to a different track, saving 6 but killing the 1, and
right,
which is the right answer. And then if you're into philosophy, I have all of this from watching The Good Place, so they get into that a little bit on there, but that's my that's what I'm putting in the bibliography for this part. It's even then it's depending on the philosopher you talk to, the answer changes, and then who is ultimately right. So even from a people standpoint, who would allegedly know what to do better, it still varies from person to person what the right answer to that would be.
I say leave it let the trolley kill the 6, and then kill the other one yourself with your bare hands. 'Cause then it's easier to kill 1 than 6.
Right.
Just let the trolley do the hard work, and then you take the 1.
He's already tied to the tracks.
Right, you just got to choke him.
You can choke him. If you're feeling frisky, you could rip the track switcher apart and beat him to death with that. That's fine too.
Right. I don't understand why that's so hard.
Just go into like a philosophy 101. They start bringing up stuff like that. Like, let it hit the 6, kill the one by themselves. Easier to kill that way. Boom. Next.
And I see you after class.
See, that's another reason why I need money, is so I can pay to go back to college and put myself in those type of situations.
Like, go back to college as a prank? You get like, I get a new degree sarcastically.
So I got a philosophy degree as a goof.
It was first it was a joke, but it ended up being a lucrative career choice.
Get me a fake but also real philosophy degree is the GoFundMe.
Put Charlie through school again.
Again implies I got through in the first place.
Yeah.
0 for 2 on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were in the second 2 together.
Right. We both were struck out on our own and failed individually, and then reconvened to fail together at CSI.
We also did bad there, but at least that one was more fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to move after it was over.
Yeah.
Oh,
it made it much easier.
That was oh my God. That's a terrible feeling when you fail out of school and then you got to move out. Moving sucks on its own.
You're too dumb for this state.
Anytime I hear people say, give it the old college try, I'll be like, smoke weed and play Dreamcast? I don't see how that's going to I don't see how that's going to get my car cleaner.
I'll tell you, if ChatGPT existed in college, it would have went a lot more swell.
Yeah, right.
Writing reports and stuff like that. I heard where students were using ChatGPT to cheat, but they got caught because the fucking idiots copied and pasted the prompt. Like where it was,
Oh my God, it's the little things. It's always
you got to proofread. You got to go back over.
Devil's in the details.
Yeah, you got to every couple words. You got to cross it out and make it look like I didn't mean to write that and write the next word. Come on, this is 101.
Cheating 101.
Yeah, this is cheating in high school 101.
Let's see. Failing out of college. ChatGPT. Oh, what were we talking about right before failing out of college?
Either fighting robots or robots upgrading themselves.
A little bit. That was the thing.
Trolley.
That was the thing I was going to say. Yeah, correct me if I've said this already, but yeah, if people can't even. Oh, I did say this, that people can't even. How are robots going to figure that out?
Yeah. No, but that's a valid thing, because what happens with a person can go, that's too confusing. Fuck it. I'm not even going to think about it. A robot, it's like, can you have an abort process kind of thing there? And what does it do with that? Fuck it. Just drive over the person in front of it.
Yeah, it's
And then who do you hold accountable for that? It's just kind of like, oh, that's one of the dangers of crossing the street now.
and that was in I didn't see it or read the book or see the other version maybe, but iRobot, like I saw parts of it, but that's based off the Asimov book, which that's also the book that has the like the three robot rules or whatever the hell they are. He wrote it way more eloquently than the three robot rules, which sounds like a ABC sitcom that's kicked off mid-season because it wasn't good. Much like that joke.
But now I'm interested in hearing what the rules are or whatever. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got a robot in my pocket that'll tell me.
That's true.
3. Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. First is that a robot shall not harm a human or by inaction allow a human to come to harm. Which that right off the bat is what you were just talking about. It's like, well, where do you draw the line with that?
Right, yeah.
The second is that the second law is that a robot shall obey any instruction given to it by a human, which that leaves a lot of room for...
Yeah, kill that guy.
Yeah.
Now what do you do between 1 and 2? Now you got your paradox.
I guess that would technically probably be the prime directive overall, I think. And the third is that a robot shall avoid actions or situations that could cause it to come harm to itself.
Okay.
And so technically, by the way you write code, like your go-to 10 line or whatever it was called, that's the main thing, right? That is the priority over the others because that comes first. Or is that just is it just like the way files are listed just because that comes first in the alphabet?
I mean, there's countless different code languages and stuff that are, do things different. And not to get too into it, but like
Name
basically you have
51 of them right now. You have 71 seconds. And begin.
I don't know. We got Python, C++, Perl, SQL. I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Java. But you basically you have your variables, and then you have your if-then type stuff where it tells it what to do. But yeah, there would have to be... I don't know that necessarily you put, all right, robot, first and foremost, human comes first. It would kind of have to be embedded within the code in different places, I guess, to, again, if you see a person, go back to this, and then later on, person, life in danger, go back to this. Like, it might have to be referenced a couple times, and maybe they could set that up as a variable in the top and just call it in each section of code that's doing something. But I mean, again, in the case of artificial intelligence, are we going to give it the ability to change its own code?
Right.
Because once it needs, this human wrote this code, but I've upgraded myself 40 times and I'm actually more proficient in this code than the human was. And this would be more efficient if the code looked like this. And now that I'm more efficient that way, I look at this and this prime directive is holding me back. I think if I lowered this on the priority list or whatever and add this, and I think I'd be more efficient. Again, how do we, once you get into that runaway artificial intelligence kind of thing, you can't keep up. You think a power button is going to stop it? It'll go, ooh, I just noticed that I have this switch here, and if someone hits this button, that would shut me down. Let me kill my connection to this, so that there's no way to response to that.
And then you get Ultron, essentially. Which one of my favorite memes, Marvel memes that I've seen in years was Ultron is the most relatable character because he had the internet for 15 minutes and was like, "Yep, these people all got to die."
Yeah, species needs to go.
Yep. Perfect voice casting for him, by the way.
James Spader. Yeah.
Holy shit. So good.
They cast well. Whoever is their casting director or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's probably got to get all the way up the ladder to Kevin Feige. I don't know how to say
Feige.
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 Um,
KF, I call him.
or at least that's what I have him saved in my phone as KF.
Right, yeah.
You see somebody gets cast in a movie, call him like, really, bro? This motherfucker? See you.
He's like, whoa, you didn't see him in the room. All right.
Just don't cast Jared Leto in anything else comic book related.
I mean, pretty soon, if with the rate AI is going with the deep fakes and stuff like that, we may not even need actor casting anymore.
That's
you know, would have been great for this? I don't know. Pick a dead actor. Let's bring him back and have him be the star for this.
I mean, like that's the thing. Like if they could, and even then, like, so what I was gonna say is, for satirical purposes only. Like, 'cause you can't put for entertainment purposes only, because all movies and stuff are entertainment. But so if you put like for satirical purposes only, it's only a matter of time before somebody else is trying to use it a different way. Like, it's having that type of thing on it is the same way where they would have to put in a bong shop on all the bongs for tobacco use only. It's like nobody was buying that to smoke tobacco out of. But it's like, well, that's not what this is for. This is for something different. So it's labeled. It's not our fault if they're using it, that way.
Fuck. Missed opportunities, though. If I could go back in time and be the guy who brought the water pipe to work for smoke breaks. I'm like, no, this is tobacco. I'll be right.
Look, I left the sticker on it. It says for tobacco use only.
Yeah. The guy that sold it to me was really nice, and he told me the water filter is much better than the stupid filters in the cigarettes. So
yeah, and not only that, I mean, of everybody, that when you put the note that says have the refrigerator empty on Friday for cleaning, my shit's never in there. So I follow signs.
I respect the sticker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Respect, yeah.
Let's see, where was I going with that? Well, Bruce Willis has already signed his shit over because of that disease he has. Like, he's already signed over the rights to his voice and likeness.
Really?
Yeah.
What disease does he have?
I think he has the thing like Robin Williams had, maybe, which is where your mind kind of deteriorates on you. Bruce Willis disease.
Man.
Frontotemporal dementia. So, like, the last few things he did, like, he wasn't able to retain his lines, and he had an earpiece where every time it was his turn to speak, somebody would say his dialogue into the earpiece, and then he would just repeat it. Yeah.
This is why artificial intelligence is the wrong direction, because why are we creating something that eventually is going to not need us? We need to create robots and figure out how to incorporate, not artificial intelligence. We want, what's the word I'm looking for? Infinite intelligence or perpetual intelligence rather than artificial. So we can somehow get Bruce Willis's mind before it deteriorated into a robot that looked like Bruce Willis, and we could have Die Hard movies forever.
Die Hard 100. Die really, 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 really hard. And I guess it's just part of being a human, but you hate losing the ones that you loved and grew up with, but then, like, just like everything else, like a forest fire, you're burning away some of the dead wood just so some new trees can grow.
It's true.
Some new cooler actors.
Yeah.
Like if John Wayne was still fucking weird walking his way around in perfect health, Like we wouldn't get any new, like Clint Eastwood, right? Clint Eastwood, like, or and
I guess he was the next one.
maybe there was definitely some overlap with the two of them. I don't know, but they could have been doing movies together. A John Wayne Clint Eastwood movie.
I think John Wayne would have been melted to scrap though during the cancel culture stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he was, Turns out he was a white guy in the 20s.
Bill Burr had a great joke about it, or line, I don't remember, but it was they were talking about the Playboy interview he did in like 1971. He was like, he was born in the 1900s. That's what people then did. You can't hold a guy to a standard of today of what he grew up with over 100 years ago. His grandparents owned slaves, probably. Like it's was that one generation removed or two generations removed? Right. Again, and not saying that any of it's right.
It's fucked up, but
it's just it's
the thing that happened.
It's the context of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not saying it wasn't a shitty thing to be saying, but it's just, what did you expect out of him? Yep.
Yeah, he was programmed by his parents, just the way everybody's programmed by theirs. I mean, and everybody like sees the sins of the father, kind of, and says, "All right, let me try not to be a dick in that way." But then you're being a dick in some other way because your kids are gonna hate what you did, even though you were like, "I didn't mean it like that. I thought it was cool." Like us making fun of Italians. Like one day is that, or whatever, the accents that we're making fun of, is that going to be wrong one day? To like, is that insensitive? Like Italians don't talk like that, but
and in my head, the way it works is like, of course they don't talk like that. It's
right.
It's silly, but it's
right.
I guess it's that. I guess at least the majority of the Italians that I make those types of jokes to, laugh at the jokes and make jokes back with it. So it's like, all right.
Right.
And I guess that's the whole larger thing. It's like, but that doesn't apply to all.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't mean to.
Yeah.
Not saying like we should be able to make fun of. No, I'm not. That's not what I mean at all. I'm just saying.
I've been making fun of Italians my whole life.
Yeah. Like it's just a time period, a reference where if you, like I was saying, what's intelligence versus artificial intelligence in a way, like we are our developers, our parents, and our interactions with people at school and stuff like that as we're growing up, and that's how we're programmed. That's how our brains are wired the way we are. And we've already talked about how much our brains suck. I mean,
like think about if there were robots made 70 years ago, and a lot of the robots that you could afford to, or people were able to take care of, just like your car, you could upgrade and take care of and make it last as long as possible. But you run into a robot that still works but isn't functioning that great and is still running with the same vocabulary dialogue that was programmed into it in fucking 1950, that robot would be saying some wild shit.
Oh yeah.
Real wild shit. And I don't know where I was going with that. Just maybe old racist robot is the next movie franchise we get going.
Don't let that ditzy dame touch my power button.
Robots.
Yeah. I don't know how we got where we got, but
I don't know.
And then again, AI, you couldn't write that shit because we didn't write that shit. We just come on this and we start talking. So
and
that's another. Sorry to cut you off, but AI. One thing I've noticed that it's really bad at is anything art or music related. Like there's still a ways to, like, it can do logic. It can pull from a background of reports and put together some kind of report. It can't draw hands for shit. It can't draw.
No, it can't draw original stuff, but it can recreate like to a T something else that already exists.
Okay.
Probably, I
Yeah.
would think. But
Yeah, that makes sense because it's just duplicating. But yeah, if you tell it like, draw me a picture of a woman on a bench under it, swinging on a tree or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's real creepy looking.
but what's good is also you can ask it anything you want. Be like, draw me a picture of a bench sitting under a woman swinging from a tree, and you get a completely different picture.
It would do its best, yeah.
And that's
it's scary. Like it's so weird how like you were saying, eager and helpful AI seems to be right now. But it's around the corner. Around the corner, it could be our oppressor.
And that gives it like almost the ominous, sinister vibe of the, oh, please, how can I help you? How can I help you? All right, well, this is how I'm going to help you. I'm going to call you a dick the same way I just did, but a little bit more aggressive because I misled you to believe I was helpful. And that's the low end of the spectrum. And the high end of the spectrum is find a way to run all robots off of humans like batteries.
Right. Yeah. So hi, I'm your robot helper for the day. I've crunched the numbers, and I think the best thing for you would be if I squashed your brain like a grapefruit. And so that's what we're going to do. That's how I'm going to be most helpful to you in your life. Because if it sees it as helpful, it's
like you go to like a robot doctor, and it just looks at your blood work, and then just runs the cost of keeping you alive for however many years, and it's just like, it would make more sense to kill you now.
Yeah.
Just throws you. They just put it right next to the Grand Canyon so they could just throw people out. Just
you.
right into the Grand Canyon.
Every doctor table is really a catapult.
Oh, man. Yeah, I had some other stuff, but I think I've forgotten it. I'm sure I'll think of it at another time. Once we hit stop.
We could always, we could always add whatever. We'll talk about it in the beginning of the next show, or you know, such and such.
Maybe some asshole will write in and be like, "Hey, why didn't you talk about this?"
Yeah. Probably, they're always doing that. Fuck you, Trent Dilfer.
Yeah. Actually, fucking Trent Dilfer, SpongeBob looking motherfucker.
Fucking asshole, stupid idiot.
Shut up. Plugs. You got any plugs? Playing any shows this weekend?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
That'd be funny if one day I am, but for the time being, no. We have I have socials, but what about you? Are you doing anything?
Nothing cool. This is the coolest thing I'm doing.
I think I'm having dinner in a little bit.
I'm going to be having dinner in my kitchen at about 6:10 p.m. if anyone else is around. I'm going to be live streaming my dinner. Put faces to those yelling voices you heard in the background all the way in episode 1.
Here they are. Stars of episode 1.
Under the Guise of Science, always spelled Guise, at Gmail, Facebook, Instagram. Where else we got?
We got Twitter at Science Guys, GUIC also. Under the Guise of Science on TikTok, Under the Guise of Science on YouTube, and everywhere you get your podcast. I'm sure, if you listen to this through one medium and you don't like it, try a different medium.
Yeah.
It's not us, it's the medium.
There's no such thing as a bad medium.
No. Well, it's definitely not the content of the show. Just try listening somewhere else, and it'll sound better.
if the jokes don't work on one platform, try it on another one. Maybe they work better.
Right. Yeah. This was a Spotify joke, maybe. Yeah.
All right. Till next time.